Students' nights were disrupted after a swatting incident on campus.
And Senator Todd Young visited campus.
And summer-like weather will continue right into Saturday.
We have that and more. This edition of 15 News at 5 starts now.
Thank you for joining us this evening on 15 News at 5. I'm Sebastian Zieniewicz.
And I'm Keaton Lewis.
Students are reeling after a potential threat on campus early morning Thursday. While many students were sleeping, a campus-wide alert was sent out at 12:10 in the morning, telling them to shelter in place and not to leave their dorm rooms due to an active threat left in the dark. Students had no idea what was happening until police started to search Beacon Hall.
I mean, I saw the threat happening before I even got the text because I was in the dorm where it happened. So I noticed cops rushing in with guns before the text was sent out. So me and my friends just ran to our dorm room. And then when we were in the dorm room, we got the text saying an active threat is happening in Beacon Hall. After we got the text, we just kind of stayed in our room and just listened to the police scanner because we were very confused on what was actually going on because cops actually went to our dorm room and we had to throw our hands in the air and they just asked us questions, what we were doing and stuff. And we were just saying we were studying in a lounge and we just had to stay sheltered in our dorm room until the threat was over about an hour and a half later. It didn't make me feel great, obviously. I was more confused than scared because I didn't really hear any gunshots or any threat. I just saw police running into the building with guns. So I was just more concerned more than anything. And definitely wasn't a fun night because we had a dynamics exam the next day and didn't really help with the sleep schedule. But yeah, overall it was just a really weird situation and something I don't want to go through ever again.
Students in other halls found out through various social media platforms what was happening on campus. Rumors spread like wildfire and very little information was given out at the time. At 1:30 in the morning, students were given an all clear and that, quote, a heavy police presence will remain throughout the night, end quote. President Padilla sent out a campus-wide email regarding the incident the next morning. In this email, it stated that VUPD received reports of armed individuals outside of Beacon Hall at 12 a.m. this morning. VUPD, in conjunction with the Valparaiso City Police Department and the Porter County Sheriff's Office, performed a thorough investigation of the area and found no credible threat to the campus or community at that time. He goes on to say, I, President Padilla, would like to express my gratitude that no one was harmed and my thanks to VUPD and local law enforcement agencies whose swift response ensured the safety of our students and community. According to the VUPD report, the hoax swatting case is being investigated. VUPD's detective has been reaching out to other locations in the U.S. that had similar incidents during the same time frame. It is believed the caller called from outside of the U.S.
Indiana Senator Todd Young came to Valpo on April 4th to tour the engineering facilities and participated in demonstrations by engineering students and professors. Senator Todd Young helped author the CHIPS and Science Act that includes a major investment in Northwest Indiana for manufacturing, science, and energy. Most of the research through this act will occur through Indiana's Department of Energy labs and through colleges like Valpo. Senator Young visited several other universities in Northwest Indiana to examine the role students play in this investment.
On April 9th, the Valparaiso University Student Senate announced the results from the 2023-2024 student election. Potential candidates for a position on the Student Senate were required to gather electronic signatures from their fellow Valpo students and then campaign on campus for their candidacy. Voting was completed via an electronic ballot that was sent out to the student body on Monday, April 8th, and a candidate win the election by securing a simple majority from the student votes. In an email last Tuesday, the current chair of the Student Senate Elections and Outreach Committee, Mackenzie Ward, shared the news to the public. The slate of officers include the following individuals in their respective positions. For Student Body President, Mezak Melton, and for Student Body Vice President, Lucas Lennon. Valpo's fourth-year senators are Gabby Wilkinson and Olivia Mass. Your third-year senators are Aidan Walton and Jacob Mack. And your second-year senators are Brett Wedelman and Lysandra Behenna. The officer slate was rounded off with Katie Hellbrand and Tyson Wolka as Valpo's at-large senators. We would like to extend our congratulations to the election winners, and we wish them the best of luck as they represent campus by voicing the concerns of Valparaiso students and address issues here on campus. If you are interested in being involved as a student senator, there are several positions available, so be sure to send an email to send them an email explaining your interest. Student Senate meetings are held every other Monday night at 8:30 in the Brown and Gold Room in the Hooray Union and are open to the general student body.
Today is the third day of Valparaiso University's 2023 Jazz Festival. The past 2 days have been filled with a variety of jazz performances, including performances by local high school jazz ensembles in addition to these ensembles. There have also been featured performances by the Bob Lark Jazz Septet with Bill Timmerman's Band Directors Big Band, the Marlene Rosenberg Trio, Stephanie Aaron, and Dan Nicholson, the last 2 days of this event. Tonight and tomorrow will feature more performances by local high schools, as well as feature performances by the Katie Ernst Trio tonight and Bob Lark's Alumni Big Band on Friday. The feature performances are free for Valpo students, faculty, and staff will cost $15. For more information on the schedule of the events for the rest of the festival, refer to the posters around the VUCA or check your email.
We have 15 Weather's Kolton Woods in the studio. So Kolton, are we going to see a cool down anytime soon?
We will actually see a cool down beginning on Sunday, but in the meantime, enjoy the great weather we have outside right now. We have perfectly blue skies out there and very warm temperatures as well. Currently right now in Valpo, we're sitting at 81 degrees with a pretty breezy wind as well, which is elevating the fire risk across the region because our humidity is also pretty low. And like I said, just plenty of sunshine out there. Right now in Valpo, we're at 81, 83 in Chicago. They actually broke their old record high temperature, which was set back in 1887, so that just shows how warm this temperature actually is. Cooler along the Lakeshore 77 in Benton Harbor, thanks to that cooler waters of Lake Michigan. But if we zoom out, you can see the ridge just parked over the United States, and Minneapolis even is at 87. So overall, just a very warm conditions across the United States. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Colton. Coming up, we'll take a look at your Valpo sports.
But first, we'll take a look at famous president's legacy as we celebrate his birthday. Stick with us. Not quite rodent royalty here in the U.S., New York City has hired its first ever rat czar. Wednesday, New York's mayor announced Kathleen Karate will be in the city's director of rodent mitigation. Her job will be to find, quote, innovate ways to cut off rats' food sources in the city, as well as use technology to detect and exterminate rat populations. Karate will work with other city agencies to do the work, including departments of health and mental hygiene, parks and recreation, and sanitation. She previously served as Queens Director of Space Planning for the city's Department of Education. No one knows exactly how many rats infest New York City, but a 2014 study estimated the population sat around 2 million. Rodents pose a serious public health challenge, including the risk of food contamination and the spread of diseases.
Super showers spring poppy flowers, at least they do in California, which is enjoying some rare super blooms thanks to all that rain. And after 4 years of reconstruction, the reopening of an iconic landmark is in sight.
After the rain comes the sun, And the poppies, all the poppies. Crowds are flocking by the masses to check out a rare super bloom in Southern California this year. The historic rains that hit the state created the perfect conditions for this bright orange explosion across the Antelope Valley.
This is like once in a decade bloom that happens, and we are driving in here from San Francisco to see this place. This is just wild. I mean, it's just beautiful.
Northern California is preparing for a super bloom of its own in the next couple weeks, as poppies and lupine are just starting to come up. But wherever you go to enjoy Mother Nature's canvas, make sure to stay on the marked paths and don't trample the flowers. There's another breathtaking sight to behold in Europe. After 4 years, the reconstruction of Notre Dame Cathedral is almost complete in Paris. In April 2019, a catastrophic fire destroyed large parts of the more than 800-year-old Catholic Church. President Emmanuel Macron vowed to have the historic landmark rebuilt within 5 years. Since then, workers have turned oak trees into massive, intricately carved beams to replace the roof and the iconic spire. As the grime and ashes are wiped away, a photographer who has documented the progress thinks it will surpass all expectations.
When they take the scaffolding out and we're able to see everything, I think it will look immaculate, beautiful, in a way we've never seen it before.
Cathedral is set to reopen December 8th, 2024. For Take a Look at This, I'm Patrick Cornell.
Thursday is National Thomas Jefferson Day, a chance to take pause and honor the third president of the United States. It is observed every year on April 13th, Jefferson's birthday. Jefferson was one of the nation's founding fathers and was a prolific writer and reader. They're best known as the primary author of the Declaration of Independence. He also wrote countless manuscripts, journals, and maintained a vast written correspondence with his contemporaries, according to nationaldaycalendar.com. Jefferson's library contained 6,500 volumes. A Renaissance man in the classic sense, Jefferson was not only a lawyer and statesman, but also a scientist and student of many academic disciplines.
Coming up after the break, Kolton Woods will have your full forecast.
And we'll take a look at Valpo sports happenings from this past week. Stick with us.
So if we look at our weather headlines for the remaining of the day, summer will last into Saturday, like I mentioned earlier, and then rain will eventually arrive on Sunday, which will help to cool us down, unfortunately, early next week. So right now we're sitting at 81 in Valpo, slightly cooler in West Michigan, largely thanks to Lake Michigan cooling them down, and even warmer off to our southwest. Our dew points as well are very low in the 30s and 40s, which means the air is pretty dry, and when you factor both the warmth and also the dry conditions, along with the winds, we are actually in an elevated risk for fire. So make sure you do not burn anything outside, because fires will ignite very easily and also travel very easily. So just keep that in mind over the next couple of days. So currently, like I said, we're sitting at 81 degrees right now with a breezy condition and full sunshine out there across the region. And you can see that on our live look as well, with conditions also blooming across the region with flowers budding and also trees as well. And the grass is pretty green out there also, so take advantage of it and maybe get a picnic in there for dinner. So for your Friday forecast, you can see we'll wake up right around 56 degrees as you head to your 8 a.m. classes. We'll warm all the way up near 80 degrees, similar today, throughout tomorrow afternoon, and then by 8 p.m. we'll still be at 68 degrees, so a very warm evening is expected for any Friday evening plans you may have. So if we look at the future radar, you can see not much to talk about, just plenty of sunshine over the next couple of days. We'll have a little bit more cloud cover to talk about for Friday afternoon than we're seeing currently, and then clouds will really start to pick up across the area on Saturday. It's not impossible we could have a random pop-up shower as well Saturday afternoon, but I'm keeping the forecast dry as of now. And then this is when the weather will start to change and we'll lose all the warmth and sunshine. Rain will move in Sunday afternoon, and that will stick around right into Monday as well. Your future wind gusts for the elevated fire risk we'll have right now, those will die down tonight, thankfully, and then pick up slightly tomorrow, about 20-mile-per-hour wind gusts throughout Friday afternoon, and then they'll get even stronger on Saturday, so keep in mind the fire weather danger will be elevated right through Saturday afternoon. Your future temperatures now cool us down to around 50 degrees overnight, and then we'll warm up to around 80 degrees tomorrow afternoon, a similar pattern throughout the day on Saturday as well. Close to 80 Saturday afternoon, so maybe go to the beach, but do not go in the water because the water temperatures are still in the 30s and 40s this time of year. And then by Sunday, thanks to that rain, we'll cool down to around 70 degrees for your high on Sunday afternoon. So for tonight, expect a low of 50 degrees with mostly clear skies, and then by tomorrow, we'll warm up to nearly 80 degrees with mostly sunny skies. Back to you guys.
You know, I'm loving this warm weather. You know, it's only April and we're in spring, but you know, I've always liked the idea of just taking my layers off and just like walking outside and feeling that warm breeze weather. How about you?
Absolutely. I saw that we had highs in the 80s today, so it's first time that's happened in a while. But, you know, obviously everybody be careful with that elevated fire risk that Kolton was talking about. So should be pretty nice weather, though, overall.
Definitely. After this break, we'll take a look at this past week's sports.
The Valparaiso University men's basketball team are under new management as a familiar face returns to the Arc. Valpo finally announced on April 7th online that the school officially hired Roger Powell Jr., former assistant coach to Gonzaga's national championship coach Mark Few, and also Valpo legend Bryce Drew. The search for head coach was the longest in Valpo history, lasting just over 2 weeks. Powell Jr. has quite the career resume, helping the Fighting Illini to the 2004 and 2005 national championship after finishing 37-2 in his senior year. As an assistant coach at Valpo, he guided the team to 4 Horizon League championships alongside NCAA tournament appearances and a fantastic NIT title run in 2016. Powell Jr. is a Joliet native and attended West Joliet High School. I myself recently had the chance to attend the press conference held at the Arc on April 12th and talked to both Coach Powell Jr. and Athletic Director Dr. Charles Small. So it sounds like the coach has some great plans for the Valpo men's basketball team. Same with Dr. Charles Small as well. I cannot wait for next basketball season. That's going to be great.
Me too. I totally agree.
So coming up, we'll have a final look at your 7-day forecast. Our summer-like weather will continue right into Saturday with highs near 80 degrees.
And then the dreaded S word arrives again on Monday with snow/rain arriving with a high of only 46, but thankfully after that we'll warm up right back into the 70s by next Thursday.
Thanks, Colton. Hey, I have a question for you. This one came in from an Instagram follower. What is your favorite thing to do outside?
I would probably say either play spike ball at the beach or just go to the beach in general, especially living so close to Lake Michigan, back home as well, and here at Valpo. I like to go there, especially when it's this warm outside. What about you?
You know, I also agree with that. I like being outdoors when it's warm, so definitely going to the beach is a good option, or just like sitting out in the grass and just doing something fun or productive. How about you, Sebastian?
Well, that makes 3 of us because I like being outside as well. Me and my family have a big in-ground pool, so I'll be sure to be in that a lot over the summer, especially if the temperatures are going to be staying in the 70s and 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. If you have a question for us, send it our way on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, and we might answer it. You can send screenshots of forums, questions you've been asked, or questions that you have yourself.
But before we go, we would like to share an event that our friends over at WVUR are putting on this Sunday, April 16th. The event is called Source Stock and will be happening in the Hooray Union Ballrooms B and C. It will be featuring the bands The Medium with Mindfully Blind. Students are able to get in for free while the general public will have to pay dollars cash. Doors will open at 5:30 p.m. with the opening act starting at 6 p.m. For more information, visit WVUR's website at www.wvurthesource.com. From all of us at VUTV, thank you for joining us this evening.